first question is, why did you start your business?
Oh my gosh. Why did I start my business? I really, well, I did the work. I liked the work. I was working for somebody else doing the same thing. And I liked it so much that I wanted to do it myself, you know, get in business for myself. And that was the only thing I can think of. My dad helped me with the finance part of it. Oh, I don't know what else I can tell you. I liked the best job I ever had. I'll tell you that.
This is the catering, right?
Well, I was younger, so I was most enthused about it.
Are you talking about this is the milk business?
What I considered very successful at it.
It was the milk business that you started.
I was a milkman.
Okay.
And let me say it this way: my competition hated to see me coming.
Yeah.
Yes, because I won 9 out of 10 times. Yeah, I did very well that way.
I'm sorry, I didn't say hi to you. I'm sorry, I didn't say hi. Oh, yes. Oh, hi, yes. Yes. Now, if I were, because this is for a project at school and she has to know for sure that this was an actual business, is there, like, if I give her your number, like, is there any proof of this business left?
Proof of it? Not very much. How old is she? Your teacher.
I'm guessing like 48.
She might know of it.
Yeah?
Yeah, because the milk business kind of died after when I got out of it.
Yeah.
It went downhill. It was old-fashioned to have a milkman.
So what was the business called?
Milk delivery.
That's what
milk.
That's what it was called?
Yep. A milkman.
Yeah, what would you have?
It was a common job back then.
But you do have the catering.
Yeah, we gotta stick with one or the other. So which one would you rather talk about? The milk business, or would you rather talk about catering?
Catering.
Yeah, and then you've got proof of your catering.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll scratch that and then do catering.
Yeah.
They both were retail businesses.
Yeah. But see, this one,
if
she's got that little card, then she's got proof of your business.
You can take that. That's proof.
Okay. I'll bring it back too.
You don't have to.
So why did you start the catering business?
Well, because the milk business went to hell.
I like that answer.
Yeah, I worked in the milk business for 18 years. And then I worked a little over 20 years at catering.
You said 18 years at the milk? You did 18 years working?
18 years as a milkman. And then a little over 20 years I started when I was 20 and I quit when I was 62, so 42 years really. I had an opening of about 2 years when I went to work for a heating company. Furnace installation, air conditioning, that kind of stuff. But I was just over 40 years old, and I was too old for the apprenticeship program. They had an apprenticeship program where you could go to school for it and become,
That's okay, your next race will be dry, right?
Yeah.
how would you say it, properly trained, like you're getting proper training in cooking.
Yeah, you were too old for that, for what you wanted to go
I was 40 years old, and the limit was 39. So I had to leave the business because the union would not sponsor me because I was too old. They wanted people that had at least 20, 25 years of good work experience, and they had to put a date in there somewhere, so they put it at 40. And that excluded me. So then I got into the catering business. A friend, an ex-milkman, had been catering for a couple of years, and he wanted to take a vacation. And he knew I was free at the time. I was out of work. And he asked me if I would take his catering route for him for a month. Well, when you're unemployed, a month's worth of work is pretty welcome.
That might be the rye.
No, this is the rye up here. And this is way over here.
Dad, you want a little piece of Renee's homemade bread?
Yes.
The one I had two of the same size as my stuff.
Yes, yes, yes.
Right here. That's the last.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's the one.
Okay.
No, wait. That's the peasant bread.
Oh, this is peasant.
I had to take them all out.
Take them out.
That, no, I think this is the country bread. This is the country bread. There's so many of them.
Yeah, you've been
I
busy.
don't even know.
We
Okay.
tasted this. This tastes like rye.
Okay, yeah.
That's really good.
This is the peasant.
I have-
Oh, okay.
This is
same.
that's the focaccia bread.
Oh, that does look like focaccia.
And then that's more of the country.
Yeah.
I only have, because I only have one loaf of this, and it was small, so it's only one piece of that. This is the polka, and that's the kugelhoop. Sweet bread, they call it.
Mm-hmm.
We tried it, and we're like, this is nothing close to grandma's bread.
Very good. You got nice texture on this.
Yeah.
It's chewy.
Which is
Very
this one?
nice.
That's the polka.
Polka. I don't understand that.
That's actually just a really simple, like almost like a sourdough. Like it's just
Oh.
flour, bread flour, salt, yeast. Just a simple bread. Really, just the ingredients are. I have all the recipes. If you guys want any of them.
They were all pretty simple, eh?
Yeah. Yep. For the most part. I mean, it was our first day of bread, so it was just simple. Everything was simple today or that week. So yeah, we're enjoying it.
That's cool. Now you moved from cakes to breads.
Yep.
We're gonna watch your dad a lot.
I know.
That's cute.
It's got some flavor to it.
It's fresh yeast. We did use fresh yeast. My teacher said the fresh yeast usually does give it extra flavor.
The little one.
Chunks.
In the refrigerator?
Yeah.
We used to steal that when Grandma was baking. Take a chunk of the yeast.
And what's cool is we're actually making our own starter dough right now. Like I'm actually making one, and we're getting the yeast from raisins. We're soaking raisins in a bag, and that's gonna be our yeast, like, cause the raisins produce yeast. So we're soaking the raisins, and then we're throwing the raisins out and using the water.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that cool?
That's very cool.
So that's what I'm starting. I got my baby at home in a glass bowl starting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Your dad loves this. Didn't you get some kind of a counter for the middle of your kitchen?
Yeah.
Did you get it in there?
No, not in the kitchen yet. The kitchen's a mess. Nothing's done. Like we gotta get the kitchen done first. It's sitting in my garage.
Oh.
But yeah, eventually I will. So
Mm-hmm.
it's exciting.
Yeah. That's awesome. I know Dad wants bread, so don't put it away.
Okay. Half a cup of rice. And 1 1/3 water.
You mean you've been recording me?
Yeah.
Well, you think I didn't even know that.
Okay. So what did you do before you owned the business besides the milk? Did you do anything else besides?
Went in the Navy.
No, I was a mailman for
Went in the Navy.
6 months while I was waiting to go in the Navy. And then I met your grandma.
Oh, no, now you.
All right.
But I stray off the subject of business.
Yeah.
Okay. Where did you get your ideas for the catering business?
Ideas from somebody else. Somebody else already was in the business.
Okay.
As I told you, this gentleman had me working for him for a month while he took a vacation. And I figured if he was able to afford a vacation of a month long, it must be pretty good business. So I leased the route for 1 year from another gentleman. And after that, I got into a drive-in restaurant.
Oh, no, now you're going way too fast for her.
So
In the summertime only.
You leased one route from the guy?
I leased the route from a gentleman, And I liked the business much better then when I was on my own, doing my own thing for my own benefit. And so when I was able to lease another route from a gentleman, I started building my own route with his equipment, with his truck, using his truck. I was expanding on it, so all I really owed to him were the customers that he originally gave me, you see. And the new customers I got were my customers. So when I thought I had enough to make a living on, I told him I was not going to renew the lease. He could have the truck back and his customers. Well, he didn't like that too well.
Yeah.
But he made me an offer to buy the truck and the route as it was.
Oh, wow.
And so I did. I bought the route from him. I remember what I paid. I think I paid $8,000 for the truck and route. And immediately I had so much work to do, so many hours a day to spend, that I knew I had to break it up into two routes. I had to split it in half. And I think that's when I had Mark working for me.
Well, that doesn't matter.
No. Anyhow, I did that. Split it into two routes. And before long, I had 4 routes because it kept growing. I kept getting new accounts.
Now, did you have your own place, or where were you working?
No, I was working out of what they call a commissary, a kitchen, a place that made soups and sandwiches, and mostly sandwiches.
Oh, you're out of the milk business already?
Yes, I was out of the milk business a couple of years when that happened. Anyhow,
so when did you actually get the name Mark's Family Catering?
gee, I don't know.
I mean, like, not exactly, but like, did you think of that name when you had your
apply,
first route?
When I first went into business, according to my accountant, I had to apply for a DBA, which is doing business as, is what it means, DBA, to the state. You have to declare the name of your business. And I didn't know of any other name except my own, Mark's. So I made it Mark's Family Catering because at that point, I had family working for me, see, in the catering business.
Okay.
And your Aunt Mary worked for me.
And Uncle Mike, Uncle Steve.
And your dad worked for me.
Yep.
Tom, Ken, everybody
And
worked.
Stephen. Kenny worked for me. No, Kenny.
Kenny?
Yeah, he worked the night run. He worked the night run out in Novi. But he was probably the shortest. Mark and him was the shortest one. Jeannie was filled in with me for a short time too, didn't she?
Very short time.
She was already catering for somebody else.
Yep.
But then Aunt Mary was with me for, I don't know, 5 years, 7 years? How many years? How many?
20.
20?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's why I succeeded. He was my right-hand man at that time. No, Uncle Steve was working. He ended up becoming the partner.
Yep.
And then how long did your business run? Like, what was...
For certain, how long did it run? It was still running when I retired in 1989.
1989?
1989, I retired.
Oh, when you retired? You retired in 1989?
And the business continued under my second oldest son, Stephen.
Okay.
But it was going downhill when I left because it was another business that was, so to speak, passé. It was...
Ran its course.
Yeah. And then the recession, of course, hit. And that put the axe to the business, period. Stephen ended up selling out what little he had left, and the business is no longer.
So when did you start the business?
Let's see, I started in a brand new truck in 67 or 68. I'm not sure.
Yeah, because we made sandwiches for you in the kitchen in Colony.
Yeah. 67, I think. I got a brand new truck. I leased from them. They bought a brand new truck and leased it to me. I had that for 1 year. And then I bought a used truck for the second round.
Gary, where did you go with the,
What was the hardest or easiest part of the startup of your business?
you want to turn it off?
The hardest
Fine
part.
with me.
Whether I was going to make enough money to support my family, because I had a large family at the time. I had all 8 children. And the easiest part was doing the work, because I loved it. Always loved sales, and that was almost entirely involved with sales. What was this little middle one? I like the texture of that. Mary, what was the little one in the middle?
The country bread?
The
That
country
looks
bread?
like the
Yeah.
country bread.
I like the texture of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all got very nice texture.
Good flavor too.
Mm-hmm.
That one actually,
Chewy
the
crust.
country bread has wheat, rye, and regular
Refined
bread.
flour.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
bread flour in it.
Oh, that's a mixture of 3 flours?
Yeah, the one you just had 3
Mhm.
flours. Yep.
And this is the regular white.
Pretty much.
I'm going to be so full of bread I won't eat no supper, you guys.
Yeah. Well, that's why I only gave you little pieces.
Okay, then what was the hardest or easy part about maintaining and growing your business?
What was the hardest and easiest part?
Yeah.
My gosh. I really don't know. It was always a labor of love, so I just kept forging ahead. Till eventually we had 8 trucks, 8 routes.
Hardest part was keeping good employees.
That's right, keeping honest,
Once you
reliable
got
employees.
past the family.
People that didn't mind getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to go to work. And I had to stand by and fill in anything. When it got to be that big, there had to be 1 or 2 people there all the time just to fill in for the failures, the ones that didn't show for work. In good weather, in good times, we would go through sometimes several weeks when nobody would be missing or not, called in sick. Raisin bread too. Renee, it's hard to pick these breads. These are all very good.
I know. That was just my first day of breads. I got lots more breads coming.
My gosh.
I know.
What your grandma told you about raisin bread, did it work?
Yes.
They
yes.
make you reneat it that way too? Yeah.
For sure. It definitely helps. He actually said, does anyone want to come up here and try and, start the dough? And I was like, I will. And then I kind of was like a little nervous because I think just because he was standing there.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, don't be nervous. And he actually said, treat it like a baby's butt. And I'm like, oh my God, I just laughed. Yeah. So.
You didn't tell him that's what your grandma
No. No, I don't know. I'm too shy. I'm too quiet. I should have, though. I should have. But he did. I told him about your bread a little bit. I didn't, say everything. And he was like, oh, he's like, what are you? And I'm like, well, at first I said Dutch. And then he was like, but I'm kind of Flemish. I didn't know if he would know what that was. And he was like, oh, so you're a buffalo. And I'm like, yep, I'm a buffalo.
Yeah, you got 25% of you anyhow.
Yeah.
That's good.
So. It smells good too.
Did you write a business plan before you started? Or did you just take right over from what the other guy had started up?
No, the nucleus was leasing a business from another gentleman. And then starting my own. getting my own clientele. Because all I owed the gentleman that I leased the business from was income from the customers that he had given me originally. I paid him so much per month for the use of the truck.
Did you ever have to go to the bank and like get a loan for money?
Yes, for financing new trucks. And I was actually turned down once, and I never did find out why. I always bought all GM trucks, and I never had any trouble getting financing from General Motors. I went to buy a Ford truck because one of my best customers was a Ford dealership, Ford automobile dealership. And I thought I should have at least one truck from them, from their company, Ford truck. They applied for financing and it was denied.
I smell bacon.
No, you don't. You smell chicken.
You smell what?
Chicken.
Wow, it smells like bacon. Bacon.
Are we still going here?
Yep. What tough decisions did you have to make along the way?
What tough decisions?
Yeah.
Sometimes to fire somebody. That was a tough decision. Hard for me to do.
Any recommendations to those trying to start out in the business?
Any recommendation for people that want to spread out in that business? No.
Any business.
Any business. Geez, I don't know. You have to love the work. That's the first and most important part. If you don't love the work, you'll never last.
And you have to put your heart and soul in it if you want to succeed.
That's right. It's almost consuming.
Sacrifices.
That's right. You can't count the hours per week. You can start counting at about 65. 65 hours a week, that is. If you put any less than that into it, you're not going to succeed most of the time. That's why the corporate world is so successful. They pay people almost as much money as the gentleman that's in business for himself, and he only has to do it 40 hours a weekend to get it. Self-employed people have to quit counting hours. If you count hours, you're not going to make enough money per hour to pay.
Okay. Would you do anything differently? Would you do anything differently?
I wouldn't personally. I think I did fine the way I came, the way it came out. You have to tell them that you're talking to an 85-year-old gentleman who's over the hill as far as being in the workforce for the last 25 years.
That's fine. That's totally fine with me.
23 years. 23 years I've been retired, Kim. We're right in the wastebasket there.
Is there anything that you did to stay competitive?
I think I did to stay competitive, yes. New equipment came in the market, and I didn't think it was going to be good for the business, but I had to buy one of the new equipment, the new trucks, in order to compete because I was losing too many accounts. We bought a new truck and went right back and got all of our old accounts back. So I was wrong in that respect. But in the long run, those trucks did not succeed very well in this market. There's a few specialties now. Maybe you've seen them, taco trucks. Have you seen taco trucks around? That's most of them what they specialize in.
Oh, really?
They sell tacos and burritos and all Mexican-style foods.
Oh.
And they're brightly painted trucks. They cook them right on the truck. Your order the Royal Oak Eats and Beats has got 6 or 7 of them down there at the market building.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know if they'll be at Eats and Beats, but...
Is that really dry?
You shouldn't cook it too long. Oh, yeah. You should turn that off after about 45 minutes.
I didn't have it in 45 minutes.
No?
No. But I did.
No, it's still not real dry.
No. Okay, go ahead with your job.
I know you said it was hard to separate like your life, your work life from your regular life, but did you try to, or I mean, how did you do that, I guess?
I tried to share in the raising of my family with my wife whenever I was home. Set a pretty good example for my children because they're all very good to us. And I can't think of anything better than that that come out of the whole thing.
I don't really have any more questions written down, but is there anything else you would add? Like, is there anything else
Geez,
you
I don't
want
know,
to?
honey.
Yeah, you raised some
Not everybody is.
entrepreneurs.
What'd you say, honey?
I said you raised some entrepreneurs.
I'm an entrepreneur. No, I
Yeah,
raised
you
some.
did.
I raised some
Raised.
entrepreneurs, yes. Because my children branched out and became successful in other fields.
And their own businesses.
Yeah. There, 1, 2, 3. 3 of them went into their own business. Or 4. Mark is working for a company. Kenny worked for companies. Stephen was with me. You went independent, and Jeannie went independent,
Tom.
and Tom went independent. One that has a machine shop.
And Tony did too.
Huh?
Tony did too. He owned that business with his buddy for a while.
Yeah.
That wasn't too long, but yeah.
Well, I think your dad was, he was kind of worn out by the catering business by that time. His most, although he's a very energetic man today. I have to say that. I don't know if I had as much energy as he has today as what he's got when I was his age. Yeah. And now, here we sit.
Try to think of more questions because I'm supposed to have 12, and I asked you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I guess that's about 12. I don't know. Can you add anything, Grandma? Is there anything you want to add?
The only thing I was going to add is that when the milk business started going down and he knew that wasn't going to be working well for him anymore is when he went into the catering business, because that was really up and coming at the time.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of paperwork? Like, I mean, I know there was a lot of paperwork.
I always had an accountant to help me with my taxes and things, but my general accounting.
In the milk business, he had all the bills that he had to make up.
I had to submit all my income and my expenses, and the accountant.
Yeah, but you had bills to make up to give to the customers. And
oh, in the milk business I did, yeah, but not in the catering. Catering business was cash and carry.
Okay.
It was a strictly cash business. No accounts, but the milk business was a bookkeeping. But I spent, between billing the customers and writing new route books, I'm going to guess probably 20 hours a month, 25 maybe, just in keeping track of your business, you know, how much the customers owed you, and how to collect it, and so on. So now you got enough notes?
I think so. I'm trying to think of anything else. Did you learn anything? Did you learn from the experience of having your own business? Is there anything that you like?
Not really. I learned something every time. It was always a different business. 3 of them primarily. There was one in the middle I didn't even mention, the drive-in. We had
just
a drive-in.
that it's a lot of hard work.
Yeah. And that was a seasonal thing. It was only 7 months of the year. And that's how I got into the main impulse to get into the catering business. That was 12 months of the year. And I couldn't feed my family on 7 months' income. I couldn't feed them for 12 months. Maybe 8 or 9 months, but not 12. So I had to have something to fill in, and that's how I got into the catering. That was the reason for getting in. I slid right from the drive-in business into the catering business. I use the same equipment and property, refrigeration, stuff like that.
But you switched right from the,
Huh?
you went right from the A&J?
From the
same-
A&J drive-in, right,
Mark,
from the
forget
root beer
that.
place. Forget that, that's not to be forgotten.
Oh.
We-
Well,
we-
that was you were working for somebody else. You weren't working for yourself.
I was working for myself when we had the drive-in.
I said when you were doing the furnace. That
Oh,
was
the
just
furnace
a
company, yeah.
part-time thing.
Yeah, that was a short, I was still groping, that was between jobs.
Yeah.
And I realized I couldn't make it with the drive-in, I couldn't support my family. I got a job working 40 hours a week for a heating company, doing rough and tough stuff in the field in the construction business, the new furnace installations.
So what did you use the building for? You used the A&J
I
building
used the
for
A&J, the
same-
building for the drive-in restaurant. I converted it into a storage place for my merchandise for the catering business.
Oh, okay, that's what I was trying
And
to...
we kept it that way until we had, I think, the 3rd or 4th truck. Yeah, I think
Until
that
81,
81.
when I had Nick, you moved into a new building.
Is that when we moved?
Yeah, as soon as I was home, you moved.
Oh, where was the first place we moved to? It was on Rochester Road, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So how many buildings were there when you owned
We
it?
had only the 2.
Yeah, we leased.
2 on Elmwood and 1 over on Souder.
On where?
Souder.
Souder. 2 on Elmwood.
Both sides of Elmwood. Remember?
What did she say?
We were on Elmwood. We
We were
were
on-
on Rochester
We were on
Road,
2 sides of Elmwood.
and then we went to 2 different
Oh,
sides
yeah, we
of
moved into a
Elmwood,
bigger location.
and then we went to Souder
Yeah, we
when
had
it got bigger
3
again.
different locations in about 15 years. 12 years, something like that.
That was hard moving.
Yeah. Moving and running the business at the same time. Okay, that's gotta cool off.
What's that?
The rice.
Was that Kenny that was here already?
Yeah.
Are they gonna join us for supper?
Yeah.